Yeah, this dude can't be beat.
Had to give him a spear.
Like that shot.
A lot of cues from the Rambo movies.
Yeah.
In the cinematography.
But it's so awesome.
Okay, so this scene is cool, like when we see Bheem emerge from the water, and I've seen a few reactions in which they say, okay, yeah, that's like Rambo style, right? Like, and maybe it's drawn some inspiration from that, but there is more to it than this, okay? So right now we have this person, his name is Bheem in the movie, the person on which he's based, which is the 20th century, early 20th century revolutionary Kumaram Bheem. His name is also Bheem, but Bheem is also a character from the Mahabharata, okay? So like, remember Mahabharata is basically a fight between two factions of brothers, right? So the Pandavas, which are 5 brothers, Bheem is the second eldest brother, and he is by far the strongest and one of the strongest people in India at that time. So the story goes, like this is the historical Mahabharata, is that when Bheem was a kid, he was a strong lad, but once he got into a tiff with his cousins, right? And they poisoned him, and then they threw him into a lake or a river. And he fell into a nest of snakes, and the snakes poisoned him then. And the way drugs work, like drugs are essentially poisons. Like if there's a poison inside you, you need a drug to cancel it. And that's also how traditional medicine in India also works. So the poison of the snakes cancel out the poison that he was already given. And when he emerged from the water, he was upgraded. He was stronger than he already was. So it's like he got upgraded to Bheem 2.0 after he came out of the water. So this is reminiscent of that. They're personifying that here, okay? I'm not saying that there's an avatar of Bheem has entered him or anything. It's just a personification that, you know, when he emerges from the water, now he's also like, he's being shown as like a very upgraded form. Okay, and one more thing we have to talk about here is that what's interesting is that for the Gond clan, you know, the Gond tribes, Bheem is actually looked upon as an ancestor as well. As an ancestor. The actual Mahabharata Bheem is looked upon as an ancestor as well. And there is a story very much in the Mahabharata where Bheem, he's on exile, like all the brothers are sent in the forest on exile because for some backstory there was to it. So he actually marries a tribal lady and they have children. So there is some corroboration to that, but it's been passed down in the Gond oral histories for like thousands of years that Bheem is actually looked upon as an ancestor as well. So that's the other thing. And after this, we're followed by this motorcycle scene, right, in which he grabs a motorcycle and starts flailing it around like it's a toy or whatever. So the thing is, because now he's personified as Bheem, you know, the Mahabharata Bheem. So the Mahabharata Bheem, okay, these warriors were all trained in all weaponry, but his weapon of choice was called the Gada, okay, which is called a mace in English. It's essentially a hunk of metal, and it's just a body smasher, but like in Bheem's hands, it's more like a body splatter, you could say. So like obviously, like me as a viewer, I'm gonna expect him to, like, you know, show him Bheem with his weapon of choice. So of course they couldn't get a mace here because that would look weird. So they basically used another prop. So they used a motorcycle to kind of, you know, draw parallels to Bheem, you know, using his weapon of choice, which would have been like the Gada or the mace back in the day. And so I think that was pretty cool too. It's probably something which I understand you guys wouldn't have drawn that correlation, but it's pretty well done.